welcome back. We are going to continue our Django Python series of tutorials. Before we get a little deeper into our application, I wanted to swing back around and talk about inheritance. Python has an object-oriented, it is in an object-oriented language. We've seen this a little bit when we did our tests. We talked about being able to inherit from test case when we created our own test class, and that it included some stuff. For example, the setup that was defined on up at the test case level and then accessible to everything underneath. So I'm just going to start with create a new file, and we're going to do we're going to work with two of them. So we're going to do we're going to call this to-do.py. And then we're going to have let's do another one. See if I can do a copy paste of that file. There we go. And this one, so we're going to have a to-do, and then we're going to have we're going to call it bug fix. Well, actually, let's do deliverable. We'll call it that. So what a to-do is, and this is going to sort of keep with our idea of tasks and such. So we're going to have our first one, it's going to be to-do. And in this case, we're going to have a title. And let's just say a status. We're going to keep this sort of simple right now. And then we're going to define an init, which this is what is typically called the constructor. And this is going to allow us to be able to create an instance of a class. And by that, I mean with the class, that's what this is. This is the definition. An instance is where we're actually working with it. So all we need to do here is we're going to do self.title equals title. Self.status equals status. And then we're going to do, let's just call this show task. Oh, and in this one, we're just going to do a print. And we're going to do print. Let's do self.title plus self.status. So if we do this, if we have this class, and let's run let's create one more, which is going to be test class. And so in test class, we're going to import to-do. Or actually, we're going to do from to-do import to-do. And then we're going to create one. So we're going to do my task equals to-do. And then we're going to give it the name and the status. So name is going to be task 1, status is going to be new. And then we're going to call task.showTask. So let's do that really quickly. Run that one through. I have that here. So if I do Python 3, what is that? Test class. Okay, it's not able to import to-do. So let's go look at that real quick. Let's try that with a save. There we go. So it helps save my file. So it just comes in real quickly. In my test class, I create one and I show it. Now I can create a second one. And if I call task, show task on that, it's going to actually do this one. So let's say open. And so if I run that, that's what I get. So now we've created a couple classes. Now let's take a look at what we can do to actually extend this and where this becomes potentially useful. So we're going to create on our to-do, we're going to create something called, let's say progress task, or let's say move task. We'll say work. And within that, we're just going to do something pretty simple. So we're going to say if status equals new, status equals in progress. Oh, and it's going to be self.status because we're going to call it with on this particular instance. And if it's in progress, then it's going to move to complete. So it's a very simple task. And this actually has a little bit of a workflow to it. So we've gone in and we've created tasks, these to-do items, and they actually have a workflow. Now we could do some more with it, but let's just go back to that real quick. So we have new and open is going to be in progress. And now let's come through and let's do task dot work task, task 2 dot work task, and then we're gonna show both of them. So now we're actually starting to add a little bit of logic around our classes. And if we do this, we're going to see we start out new and in progress. Both of them went to complete, interesting enough. Let me go back to, that was stupid of me, because that should have been where did that go? To do. That should have been an if, there should have been an if with an else there, because here status was new, set it to progress, so it's already progress and it sets it to complete. So let's actually do it this way. We'll do it in reverse. And now we'll see that come out right. So new and in progress, go to in progress and complete. So very simple. So now we're going to go back to our, let's see, let's go from here. And so when we go to our, what did we call that? Deliverable. So now we're going to import from to-do, and we're going to have a class deliverable. And it's going to inherit from to-do. And it's going to add results. And let's just say it's equal to a document. And then we're going to do an init. And that's going to take, let's do 3 things. Self comma. So we're going to do the title. And you can see here it's actually already looking at the one for its parent. And I'm going to take title. I'm going to take my status. And I'm going to take result. And so in this case, I'm going to be able to call super init. So that means I'm going to call my parent. And all I need to do here is send it title and status. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to do self.results equals result. And then the rest of the stuff's already going to exist. So what we're going to see here is, if we go to our test class, so we created all these guys. Let's create now. This is going to be deliverable 1. And this, we have to import it. So from deliverable, we're going to import, there we go, deliverable. And this one is going to be deliverable 1 It's going to be new. And we're just going to say this is a PDF. So now we can do, even though we didn't have to rewrite, we don't have a show task per se on deliverable, but we can do deliverable1.showTask. We can also do a work task. So we wrote the code up here in our to-do, but this same code is going to display for our deliverable that we inherited. So if we come over here, I did save it, yes, and we run it. Let's clear that up real quick. Then we're going to see here, it requires a super object, but received a string. So we did not send it what we needed to. Oh, we didn't send it ourself, I think. So let's go back and look here. Where did that go? Not to here. We're going to go deliverable. And oh, my mistake. It's not actually not a reference. It's a method call. So if I come in here and I do my test, now we'll see. So deliverable, the display is getting picked up, and the progression is still getting picked up. So I can actually go in and utilize and extend, which is really one of the whole purposes of object-oriented. I can extend my class, my test class, and I can add some additional pieces to it. Now, I can also come in and take, where'd it go, to do, and let's actually, so let's take that show task, and let's say for the deliverable, I want to change it from self.status to I'm going to make it a little bit longer here, and I'm going to do self.result. Results. And so now I have overridden that type. I'm going to see that I actually get a whole different version of my show task in deliverable. Now I can change this around however I want to. So I could go in if I wanted to, and I could create a whole new work task. I could have a whole new workflow. The key here would be that I can make stuff of different classes and cast them back and forth. So I don't have to hold something of a specific type. So this becomes useful in, and let's just leave it with just the show task. So what we can do is then we can do this. So we can do, I'm going to do my tasks equals, and it's going to be task deliverable 1 and task 2. And then I can do let's do for item and my tasks. I can do item.showTask because I know that all of these are at the base, there's some sort of a to-do. And it's going to know based on which one what it's going to display. So now let's take care of, actually let's get rid of all my show tasks and work tasks. And so now I'm just going to create these tasks. I have a collection of them. And then I'm going to try to walk through them and do something with them. And we're going to see here that it went through and displayed them based on their type. Now I could do that. I could change up my work. I could, how I progress that task. I can add additional features like I did. I could continue to add on deliverable. Maybe it's got results. Maybe it's got a link. Maybe it's got some other stuff. What that allows me to do is to have, one, to reduce the amount of repetitive code that I have to deal with. I don't have to repeat myself. If I don't want to have a different show task, I don't have to create a show task for every type of task I have. And in this case, you can think about it. There are tasks we do that it's really just you do it and that's it. There are tasks you do that include you doing some sort of a validation or quality assurance test. There are tasks that require you to have a deliverable. There are tasks that have multiple steps where maybe you start with, like for example, software. Maybe you start with a design, or let's even go back to that. You start with your task moves from created or new to gather requirements, design, implement, test, release, ready for release, and then release, things like that. So we will see this, we will make use of this to some extent, and I want to make sure we hit it before we move on. So that's inheritance. We kept it sort of simple today. If you want to take a look at the code, it'll be out there. Take a look at the show notes. We've got our link to the GitHub, and this would be day 25. Look for that tag, and you'll get to see these changes. So hope you had a good one. Go out there, have yourself a great day, and we will talk to you next time.